So you're staring at an error screen on your brand new solar setup. You've got the inverter, you've got the battery, everything is plugged in, but they just refuse to talk to each other. No data, no charging. It's a super frustrating and really common problem. Let's dig in and figure out why. So why won't your battery sync? You know the symptoms, right? Maybe you're getting no data at all, or the state of charge is just stuck at zero, or maybe the system is just charging and discharging like it's got a mind of its own. You've probably checked the big power lines a dozen times and everything seems fine. So what is really going on here? Well, here's the secret. The problem isn't the power, it's the communication. In almost every modern solar system, the failure point isn't in those thick, beefy power cables. It's in the thin, little data wires. It's a complete breakdown in the intelligence of your system. All right, let's start our investigation with the two biggest culprits, the most common reasons things go wrong. We're talking about the language the devices are trying to speak and the physical wires they're trying to speak through. I mean, if you get these wrong, it is an instant failure. Okay, so at the heart of both CAN Bus and RS485 is this really clever trick called differential signaling. Now, instead of one wire just shouting its voltage into the void, you have two wires that are kind of whispering to each other. The data is found in the difference between their voltages. You can think of it like trying to hear a conversation in a really noisy room. It's way easier to hear the difference between two people talking quietly to each other than it is to hear one person trying to shout over all that background noise. This makes the signal super robust, but it means the wiring has to be absolutely perfect. So what are these languages anyway? Well, think of CAN Bus like a sophisticated conference call or a busy group chat. Multiple devices can all talk at once, and the most important messages, they get priority. RS485, on the other hand, is a lot more like a simple two-way radio call between a boss, that's the master, and a single worker, the slave. They both get the job done, but they do it in very, very different ways. And right here is our first huge failure point. If your inverter is set to speak CAN Bus, but your battery only understands RS485, they will never sync up. It's literally like trying to have a conversation where one person is speaking Spanish and the other is speaking Japanese. The wiring can be flawless, but if the protocols don't match in the settings menu, it's an absolute non-starter. Now, the second common failure is even more sneaky. The communication cable, it plugs in perfectly, you hear that satisfying click, it looks totally fine. But inside that cable, those two critical data wires, the A and B lines, they're swapped. Reversing them is like crossing the streams on that walkie-talkie. All you get is static and silence. It causes an instant, total communication failure. So let's say you've got the right language selected, you've double-checked the wiring, you should be good to go, right? Well, not always. Now we have to dive into the really tricky stuff, the unseen signal killers that can corrupt your data in some truly mysterious ways. Imagine shouting down a long, empty hallway. What happens? Your voice hits the far wall and it bounces back as an echo. Well, the same exact thing can happen with electrical signals inside a cable. When a pulse of data hits the end of the wire, if there's nothing there to stop it, it bounces right back, creating an invisible echo that crashes into the next piece of data, scrambling the entire message. This echo, it has a technical name. It's called signal reflection. And you know what? It's the #1 cause of those maddening intermittent faults. You know, the ones where your system works perfectly 1 minute and then completely fails the next. That reflected signal just garbles the real data, causing the inverter or the battery to misinterpret messages or sometimes miss them altogether. So how do we stop the echo? How do we kill it? With this little guy, a 120 ohm resistor. This tiny component, it acts like a shock absorber for that electrical signal. You place it at the end of the line, and its entire job is to absorb the signal's energy, preventing it from ever reflecting back and causing all that chaos. It really is the magic number for clean communication. Now, the most crucial point here is where you put these resistors. This is where a lot of people mess up. They do not go on every single device. You only place one at the physical beginning of the communication line and one at the physical very end of the line. Think of it like putting a cap on both ends of a pike. This makes sure that no matter which direction the signal is traveling, it always hits a terminator and never an open end. And you really can't get this wrong. If you have too few resistors or none at all, you get those data-killing echoes. But if you have too many resistors, say you put one on every device, you weaken the signal so much that the devices can't even hear each other. It's a real Goldilocks situation. It has to be just right. And finally, the last of our unseen killers is a bad ground connection. All the devices on the network need to have a common reference point for what 0 volts is.
If the grounds are at different levels, not only can it corrupt the data, but even worse, it can send a damaging jolt of electricity right through the communication ports, completely frying them for good.
Okay, so all of this might just sound like a technical headache, an inconvenience, right? But it's so much more than that. We really need to talk about why a stable communication link isn't just a nice-to-have feature. It's an absolutely critical safety system. This quote, it just says it all. Your inverter is the muscle of your system, but the battery's internal computer, its battery management system, or BMS, that's the brain. So when that communication fails, the muscle gets disconnected from the brain. Your inverter is literally flying blind, with no idea what the battery needs or what its safety limits are. And what's at stake here? Well, the BMS is constantly monitoring the battery's health. It's the system that screams, "Hey, stop charging, I'm full," or "Whoa, don't drain me any further, I'm getting too low." It also manages critical temperature and current limits. All of these vital, life-or-death safety commands are sent over that one single communication cable. Okay, we've gone through the problems, we've talked about the risks. Let's finish this up with an actual, actionable plan. Here is a simple 5-step checklist you can use to diagnose and fix pretty much any communication issue you're going to run into.
Let's run through it. Number 1, confirm the protocol. Go into the settings and make sure your devices are actually speaking the same language. 2, verify the cable. I cannot stress this enough. Check the manual for the correct pinout. It is incredibly common for the cable that came in the box to be wired wrong for your specific inverter and battery. Do not trust that it's right. 3, check termination. 2 120 ohm resistors, one at each end. No more, no less. 4, ensure a solid ground. And 5, and this is a big one, never, ever hot plug. Always power down the entire system before you touch those communication cables, or you risk frying the ports permanently. So, after all of this, what's the big takeaway? It's that in any modern solar system, power is only half of the equation. Control is the other half. And that control, the intelligence, the safety, the efficiency of your entire investment, all of it is made possible by that one, often overlooked, little communication link.